Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today I am starting a new series that I like to call a Waste Not, Want Not. And it's all about how I use or repurpose all of my items. So today we're starting with candles, specifically candles that come in a container. Technically, if you have a candle without a container, and especially if it's for a magical purpose, you should dispose of it in accordance with what you're trying to manifest or what the intention is of your working. So this is not about that. This is about repurposing your jars. So this is actually not all of it. I've been working on this for 3 days. But I thought that it would be the most clear example if I just showed you with a jar for each step. Okay, so this box is full of lids. This is actually the box that I was storing them all in. Typically I do this once a quarter. However, I was inundated with other stuff, and so this is actually more like 6 months worth. These are containers for like bath salts or body scrubs or whatever. They still need to be cleaned. But they don't need to do this first part of my process, so they're just being set aside. Those ones have already been done, and these are the last two because they're really big and they take a while. So basically, once you have been using a candle for a while, a lot of times there's a residual amount of wax left on the bottom. If you don't scrape everything out right when you're done burning it or when it goes out, you'll have to do it one of two ways. You can technically put it in the boiling water and just kind of loosen the sides and pull the disc out, or you can melt it. I like to melt it because then it's kind of like reusing it again because I still get the wonderful smell. So I melt it, and basically I have a cardboard box that I'm putting all of the residual wax in, because most of these were used for a spiritual intention, and so they should be burned. And then I will heat this up, scrape the wicks out of the bottom, get as much of the wax out as possible in preparation for the next step. All right, so this is some candles that I've scraped as much of the wax off as possible. This step takes off, loosens the adhesive on labels like this, and gets residual wax out of here. These candles are challenging ones because when candles are colored, they're usually the color a lot of times, especially like for example this one, especially these matted frost ones, the color is just kind of on the outside, and so any scraping will ruin it. So you gotta be really careful. I save all my plain glass jars for last because you can just rub the hell out of those, and those are totally fine. So basically this is just a pot. It's not a favorite pot because it's gonna get a little bit messy. It's totally, if you only have one pot, you can totally use it again. It's just that you'll have to clean it really thoroughly. So basically it's got water and Dawn dish soap. I've got the water in here pretty hot. It doesn't have to be boiling, but it should be really, really hot. And so basically I'll start with here, and I will put some water in there and also just let it sit like that. That takes the adhesive off the whole bottom part of the jar. I can usually fit a couple in here. This one's pretty big, so it looks like it's going to be one at a time for these. This here has a really pretty like bow type thing. It will not survive the boiling process, so I'm going to remove that. I save twines. That's a different episode of Waste Not, Want Not, is all my little cords and ropes and such. This one I don't think is going to survive. It's really pretty, but this salt is just on the surface. So we'll see how that goes. But basically this step entails hot soapy water and not boiling it, but very hot, to loosen the adhesive on the labels and remove residual wax. If you want to do this on a smaller scale, I would say take your candle that you just used, scrape the wicks out of the bottom and as much wax as you can. If you don't want to do a pot, you can get a basin with a little bit of Dawn dish soap or whatever dish soap you want on the bottom, and heat water up in your kettle and pour it in there, and just keep reusing and reheating the same water, which is an energy efficient way to do this. And just let it soak until the adhesive gets loose, and you can remove it. For the most part, no matter how long you soak it, and I have soaked these for a while, this adhesive doesn't come all the way off, and so you'll have like this kind of residual. I'll show you afterwards on the bottom. And that's where the next step comes in, which is the washing and the scrubbing. So I'll cycle through some of these and I will show you the next step. Okay, so this one's just come out of the water. I filmed myself taking off these 2 tags, but my son was talking the whole time. So as you can see, there's a little residual stickiness here. Then we're looking at the bottom, and you just kind of like, should be pretty easy. Even better if you have nails. It's really, really hot. And just kind of scrape off as much as you can. The red one, all the paint came off when I peeled it, so we're not using that as an example. That's the inside, still pretty dirty. This one looks like it's painted on the inside. As you can see, the bottom lip is pretty clear, so I'll have to be careful cleaning the inside, and I can probably scrub the outside to get this sticky stuff off, so just a moment. Okay, so this part's at the sink. It's going to have some very, very hot water, as hot as you can get it running. I got some Dawn dish soap here, a little tiny bit in there. Put in a little bit of the hot water in, and I grab a sponge and I just kind of, normally I would use a steel wool, but I'm trying to preserve the color. And this one's not very dirty. The ink came off, or the sticky came off pretty quick, pretty easily. This sticky here I'm trying to get off. I probably won't get it all off this first round, just because I am trying to keep this video a reasonable length, and so I'm not going to sit here and scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape and scrape. But I'm going to do a little bit at first. You can clean this several times. It'll come off over the course of, the next 1 or 2 washings if you want to be really particular. And then I rinse. It's going to have a little bit of sticky left, but just because I will come back to it. And I was able to preserve all the color. A little residual wax left. And again, if you really want to sit here and spend a lot of time working on it, I would fill your sink with the soapy water, and just so you don't have to waste water. But I am gonna call this good, actually. So I have a candle to repurpose. I'm gonna put it right over here, face down, and I'm gonna grab another one, so just hold on. This one's going to be straight from the boiling water, so it's going to be very, very hot. Woo. It's very hot. So I've got a very, very hot one that I just pulled out of the water. Woo! It's hot. Okay, I'm going to kind of peel this wick off very gently. Comes right off because it's so hot. The bottoms are usually another story, but as you can see, I kind of push down on it, and ow, it's all coming up. There we go. Put these in the garbage. I'm not going to repurpose these. And then one more time with a clear glass. I got a little bit of soap, and this one actually just looks like a cup that I'm washing, to be honest, and there's no residual stickiness left. A little tiny smidge on the bottom, but actually, honestly, you could use this for a glass. Be careful with the ones with color in them if you're going to repurpose them for edible purposes, because especially if they're made in a different country. A lot of coating on this type of thing has lead-based paint, which can poison you. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Okay, so here is most of the big ones. All the little ones are still left. This process takes me several days just because of how many I gather. If you were to do this, if I was to do this more frequently, or if you were to do this as you finish the candle, it would be pretty quick. So I have all saved in sizes. I was able to preserve the color of most of the colored ones, so that's really good. Some of them, like this, had been orange, so color is completely gone. So there's that. This was a neat apothecary bowl. It just needs polishing, but it's clean for now. And so I will show you a couple things that you can use with your new jar. Hold on. So, oh, Albert. So here is my couple of purposes. So this was an old Bath and Body Works jar. One thing that you should note about your resurrection flower is that you need to dry it between uses or else it'll just rot. So this one's nice and dry. When I want to use it, I add water. Honestly, this needs a little cleaning, but I add water and it comes right back. This one had been a jar. You could repurpose it for a terrarium. I store feathers in this one. I've got acorns in this one. Oh, look, everybody came to say hi. Say hi, boys. What? No commentary? Oh, there we go. That's a goose. These are my turkeys. It's a beautiful day here in Southern Oregon. Everybody's minding their own business. Anyway, a couple other uses. Let me see. Hold on. So my cupboard is actually a mess because I'm trying to kind of categorize and take inventory, but all of these I've washed and repurposed. They were full of herbs, smudge sticks, incense. So usually I put all the incense in one. I put all the smudge in one. These are jars that I bought, but honestly, I have tons of jars with lids, so I could repurpose them for that. Repurpose them for your salts, bath salts, decorative terrariums, storage of all kinds. You could use it as a basis for a spell, manifestation spell. You could probably repurpose them for a witch's jar. You could, or witch's bottle. Basically a million uses. We're witches, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary folk, humans, friends, starseeds. We're witches. And witches know what's up with bottles and jars. So on that note, I hope you will waste not, want not, and keep your items, because reusing and repurposing is really the best way to help our mother. And so I hope you will do that. There will be more entries because, as you know, I have gratuitous amounts of things like boxes, bags, and even I could show you how I repurpose my veggie scraps, which is super pertinent, herb cuttings, even bones. So stay tuned. I can't make any promises as to how often this is. Y'all know how it is in a pandemic, but that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you. Take care. Be safe and create, people. Create. That's what it's all about. Love you guys so much. Bye.